Have you ever wondered what goes on behind the doors of one of the world's largest crayon factories? Think about it for a second. Millions of crayons are made every single year, and each stick of color that a child picks up in school or that an artist uses to bring an idea to life has gone through an incredible journey before it ever touched paper. It all begins with something as simple as wax and pigment, but what happens inside a crayon factory transforms those raw materials into a rainbow of color that fuels imagination. Today we're going to take you inside the fascinating world of crayon production, from the history of how they came to be to the detailed steps that turn hot wax into the familiar sticks of creativity we all know and love. By the time we're done, you'll never look at a crayon the same way again. The story of crayons stretches back far beyond the colorful boxes we grew up with. Long before the name Crayola became a household word, people in ancient times were already experimenting with ways to create marks with color. Early crayons weren't much like what we know today. They were made using natural materials like charcoal, chalk, or ground minerals mixed with wax or oil. These rudimentary tools allowed early artists and scribes to make colored lines, though they were nowhere near as smooth, vibrant, or durable as modern crayons. By the 19th century in England, crayons began to resemble what we think of now, with sticks crafted from charcoal or pigment mixed with wax. Still, they were messy, limited in color, and often broke easily. The real revolution came in the early 20th century when wax crayons, refined with better formulas and mass production techniques, became available. In 1903, a pair of cousins founded a company that would soon introduce the Crayola brand, offering safe, affordable, and brilliantly colored crayons for children. By the 1920s, wax crayons had fully cemented their place as both a classroom essential and a household staple for unleashing creativity. Now, step with me into a modern crayon factory. The moment you enter, you're struck by the overwhelming sea of color. Bright bins of pigment powders, giant containers of wax, and gleaming machines all hum together in an atmosphere that feels less like industrial manufacturing and more like a workshop of imagination. The air itself smells faintly of wax, carrying a scent that instantly takes you back to childhood. Workers move quickly but methodically, overseeing a process that must balance art with science. This isn't just about melting wax. It's about ensuring that every single crayon is strong enough to resist breaking, smooth enough to glide across paper, and vibrant enough to spark joy in the person who uses it. The first step in the process is material preparation. Paraffin wax, the foundation of nearly every crayon, arrives at the factory in large blocks or pellets. It's chosen because it's smooth, stable, and capable of holding color evenly. Alongside the wax, precise amounts of pigment and special additives wait to be measured. These pigments are the heart of the crayon, determining everything from the boldness of primary reds and blues to the subtle shimmer of metallic shades. Additives are equally important. They ensure the crayons don't smudge too easily, that they resist melting in warm hands, and that they maintain a perfect balance of hardness and flexibility. Workers open massive valves and feed the ingredients into hoppers, where they are automatically conveyed to giant boilers. This leads us to the mixing stage, and if there is any part of the process that feels like pure magic, this is it. Huge stainless steel vats heat the wax to a liquid state, creating a shimmering golden pool that glows under the factory lights. As the wax reaches the right temperature, powdered pigments are carefully added, turning the wax into a swirl of color that looks like liquid paint. Machines stir constantly to ensure that the mixture is completely uniform, with no streaks or clumps. Watching this step feels like watching molten rainbows come to life. The rhythm of the machinery, the swirling patterns of wax and color, and the sheer scale of it all combine to create a mesmerizing scene. From this stage alone, one single batch can create thousands upon thousands of crayons, ready to bring paper to life with color. Once the mixture is ready, it's transferred through pipes into the molding stations. Imagine rows of spinning metal trays, each lined with hundreds of narrow crayon-shaped cavities. The liquid wax is pumped in, filling every single mold. Almost immediately, cooling systems kick in, solidifying the wax into the familiar stick form we all recognize. Within just a few minutes, what was once hot liquid becomes perfectly shaped crayons. Excess wax is scraped away by precision blades and recycled right back into the system so that nothing goes to waste. The efficiency is remarkable, and yet it's easy to forget that this process also requires incredible precision. Too much heat and the crayons might crack. Too little and they might not solidify properly. As the molds release their colorful cargo, the freshly formed crayons are delicate, almost fragile. They move along conveyor belts where they are cooled further to ensure strength and stability. Workers and quality control machines keep a close eye at this stage, checking for imperfections like air bubbles, cracks, or inconsistent coloring. Crayons that don't meet the strict standards are immediately removed, melted back down and reintroduced into the process. Nothing is wasted, and every effort goes into ensuring that only the best reach the final packaging stage. Next comes the wrapping process, which may be the most recognizable part of the crayon's identity. Each stick is fed through a wrapping machine, where thin paper labels are glued on tightly. These wrappers aren't just for branding, they serve a practical purpose too. The paper helps protect the crayon from breaking and gives children and adults a place to grip without smearing wax onto their fingers. Watching thousands of crayons being wrapped in perfectly aligned paper jackets is almost hypnotic, as they zip by in endless rows of color. Finally, the crayons are grouped together into their familiar boxes. Whether it's the classic 8-color set that many of us first held in kindergarten or the massive 120-color boxes that offer endless possibilities, every crayon is carefully counted and packed. Machines fold, glue, and seal the cartons, which are then stacked into larger boxes for shipping. From here, they travel across the country and around the world, ready to find their way into classrooms, art studios, and living rooms. Each box represents not just the final step in a factory process but the beginning of countless moments of creativity. The beauty of crayons is that they are both simple and profound. They are inexpensive, safe, and easy to use, yet they open the door to endless creativity. Every great artist began somewhere, and for many, their first tool of expression was a crayon. In classrooms across America, crayons are more than just supplies, they are essential tools for learning. They help children develop fine motor skills, practice coordination, and express ideas when words are not yet enough. They spark imagination, build confidence, and encourage storytelling in a way few other objects can. Beyond childhood, crayons hold a special nostalgic place in our hearts. The smell of wax, the feel of paper peeling away, the joy of filling and coloring books. These experiences remind us of simpler times. Even as technology advances and digital tools become more common, there's something irreplaceable about holding a crayon in your hand. That's why crayon factories continue to operate on such massive scales, producing billions of sticks each year. They aren't just making colored wax, they're creating memories, creativity, and joy that will last for generations. Have you ever held a fresh crayon in your hand and wondered how something so small and simple could be such a powerful tool for imagination? From the first time kids open a brand new box and take in that iconic waxy smell to the way artists still reach for crayons to sketch out colorful visions, these little sticks of color are more than just craft supplies. They are part of childhood memories, learning experiences, and creative exploration across generations. But behind that moment when a child puts crayon to paper lies an incredible story of science, precision, and technology. The journey of how crayons are made is both fascinating and surprisingly complex. And today we're going inside the factory where millions of crayons are born each day, crafted with care, efficiency, and a touch of wonder. The process begins with something as simple as wax. Specially refined paraffin wax arrives in large slabs that are melted down into a liquid state under carefully controlled temperatures. This molten wax serves as the canvas for color. Without pigments, the wax would remain clear and plain, but factories use carefully measured amounts of vibrant colorants to bring it to life. Each pigment is blended into the melted wax until the mixture becomes completely uniform, ensuring every crayon will have a consistent, rich shade from the very first stroke to the very last. Think about it, when you grab a blue crayon, you expect it to be the exact same blue from tip to wrapper, and that level of consistency is only possible because of meticulous mixing and testing at this early stage. Once the molten wax is perfectly blended, it's time to shape it into the familiar cylindrical sticks we know so well. The hot wax mixture is poured into precision-engineered molds that create thousands of crayon shapes at once. Under the influence of pressure and temperature control, the wax hardens quickly, forming into smooth, solid cylinders. Within just a few minutes, the crayons take on their final recognizable form. At this point, human hands are rarely needed because robotic arms, resembling futuristic cranes, swoop in with astonishing speed to pick up the hardened crayons and place them onto conveyor belts. The efficiency here is breathtaking. This factory alone has the capacity to produce 14 million crayons every single day and over 3 billion craft products annually. To put that into perspective, that's enough crayons to give every single child in America dozens of fresh sticks each year. But making the crayon itself is only half the story. The next phase is packaging, which is where vibrant branding, colorful labels, and quality control all come together. Workers begin by preparing glue and loading rolls of printed paper into automatic labeling machines. These machines work at incredible speed, wrapping each crayon in a perfectly fitted label that not only shows its color name but also protects it from breaking apart during use. It's a small detail but one that makes a huge difference. Without labels, crayons would be harder to grip, messier to handle, and less appealing on store shelves. Batches of bright blue, fiery red, deep purple, and sunny yellow come off the production line in mesmerizing sequences, and operators keep a watchful eye to ensure that every crayon is flawless before it moves forward. After labeling, the crayons are carefully sorted by color into large storage tanks. Beneath each tank, a conveyor belt carries packaging molds designed to hold specific sets. Whether it's a box of 8 basic colors, a set of 24, or a deluxe 64 pack that generations of kids remember fondly. As the molds pass under each tank, the system automatically drops the correct crayons into their slots with precision accuracy. Imagine watching rows of perfectly aligned crayons, each one identical in size, shape, and color, sliding into their packaging as though an invisible hand were arranging them just for you. It's one of those mesmerizing factory moments that never loses its magic. Finally, the finished crayon sets are sealed in their iconic boxes, ready to make their journey out into the world. From classrooms and daycare centers to art studios and family kitchens, these little sticks of wax are about to bring endless joy, learning, and creativity to millions of hands. If you've ever opened a fresh pack and felt that surge of excitement, you know the impact something so small can have. In a way, every crayon carries with it the potential for a masterpiece, whether it's a child's first drawing of a family, a school art project, or even professional artwork. But there's another side to crayon production that most people don't think about: the environmental impact. With billions of crayons being made and used every year, factories have a responsibility to minimize waste and reduce harm to the planet. Many modern facilities now use recycled materials wherever possible, from packaging boxes to leftover wax scraps that are melted down and reused instead of being discarded. Toxic substances are strictly limited, ensuring crayons are safe for children while keeping pollutants out of the environment. Some factories even run on solar energy, proving that a balance between creativity and sustainability is possible. It's a powerful reminder that the same industry fueling children's imaginations can also take steps to protect their future. Watching this process unfold is like seeing an orchestra of machines and people working in harmony. The robotic arms move with perfect rhythm, conveyor belts glide effortlessly, labeling machines hum as they wrap each stick, and workers oversee everything like conductors, ensuring every note is hit with precision. The result is not just a crayon, but a product that embodies decades of refinement, innovation, and a deep understanding of what sparks creativity. The next time you pick up a crayon, you'll know it's more than just a piece of wax. It's the outcome of science, engineering, and human ingenuity, designed to inspire. Think back for a moment. How many different crayon brands have you used in your life? Did you grow up with the classics, or did you experiment with glitter crayons, metallic shades, or even scented versions? Everyone has a favorite type of crayon, whether it's the bold red that pops on the page, the calming sky blue, or the jet black outline stick that helps shape entire drawings. In a way, crayons are deeply personal, connecting us not only to art but to specific memories of school days, family time, and carefree afternoons. That's what makes their story so powerful. They aren't just tools, they're part of the shared language of childhood. The beauty of crayons is their simplicity, but also their impact. They are often the first art supply a child ever holds, teaching fine motor skills, encouraging creativity, and giving kids the confidence to express themselves freely. No instructions are needed, no advanced skills required. Just pick up a crayon and let your imagination flow. That sense of freedom is why crayons remain timeless even in a world dominated by digital screens and apps. Parents still buy them by the box, teachers still stock them in classrooms, and kids still squeal with joy when they open a brand new set. They're inexpensive, accessible, and endlessly versatile. A perfect recipe for staying relevant across generations. By the time the crayons leave the factory, boxed up in exquisite wrappers and stacked for shipment, their journey is only just beginning. Each box carries with it the promise of creativity, waiting to be opened, explored, and loved. Whether they end up in the hands of a kindergartner drawing their first rainbow, an art student experimenting with textures, or even an adult rediscovering the joy of coloring as a stress-relieving hobby, crayons continue to serve their purpose in remarkable ways. They are more than just wax. They're symbols of imagination, play, and the simple joys of making something colorful. So the next time you peel back a crayon wrapper or watch a child color with wide-eyed concentration, remember the incredible process behind that moment. From molten wax and precision molds to robotic arms and eco-conscious packaging, Every crayon tells a story of innovation meeting creativity. If this journey through the crayon making process amazed you as much as it amazes us, make sure to share this story with friends, leave your thoughts in the comments, and keep exploring the everyday products that quietly shape our lives. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating deep dives into the hidden worlds of factories and the everyday items that bring joy, comfort, and inspiration into our lives.